From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. On a given night, there are more than 800 people experiencing homelessness in the city of Aurora. That's according to the most recent survey from the Metro Denver Homelessness Initiative. Some of them find shelter and support at a center designed to house up to 600 people. On Friday nights, one of those people is the city's top elected official. Since late February, Aurora's mayor, Mike Coffman, has spent his Friday nights sleeping on a cot at the shelter. He says it gives him unique insight into the program and how to improve it. Mayor Mike Coffman joined me to talk about why he wanted to do this and what kind of impact it's had on city policies. You know, this is an unusual way for a mayor to learn about an issue. What was the moment that prompted you to spend the night there for the first time?
Sure. I think a couple of things. I think one is that I have a military background, retired military, and so there's a leadership that never ask anybody to do something you yourself would not do. And so where I stay is in the low barrier shelter. The people that have either just lost their housing or they're just off the street and they come in. It's austere by design. It's military style cots. But another thing is that when I was a member of Congress, I would go up to Afghanistan every year in the 10 years that I was in Congress. I could have gotten these briefings at the Pentagon. But the value of going was I was focused. I was focused on that singular issue of what was happening in Afghanistan, what direction we needed to take. And so this really focuses me on this one singular issue, on homelessness. How can we help people? How can we do a better job dealing with people with sometimes very severe challenges and getting them to their highest level of self-sufficiency? That's a very complicated goal because it's really based on the individual, that you have a system in place that can accommodate the different needs of individuals to recognize their individual challenges.
Right. And you decided to spend the night yourself at the most kind of basic bare bones level.
Right.
What is something that stuck out to you, something that you remember from your first night at the shelter?
Well, I go in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I go Friday afternoon to talk with people, see how they're doing, see if somebody's new, have they met with the case manager yet? And also it gives me the ability to track people so that if somebody's not moving forward, why are they not moving forward? And what I'm finding is that no single program can be everything to everybody. And so that people with severe addictions, people with severe mental health, that's not the place for them. So what can I do to develop partnerships with other entities that can provide those services so we can create this symbiotic environment where we're referring back and forth?
I'm curious, what kind of reactions have you gotten from residents at the shelter when they realize who you are?
I think early on it was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
So I think my first night there, and I stayed through the night, and then I help serve breakfast in the morning. And a young woman comes up to me who's experiencing homelessness, and she goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Mike." She goes, "And what's your story? Meaning, how did you become homeless and get here?" I said, "I'm the mayor." And she looks at me and she steps back and she goes, "The mayor of the shelter?" I said, "No, the mayor of the city." And so I thought it was pretty funny. So they know who I am. And so, it's, "Hey, mayor, how you doing?" And come up and talk to me, and I'll come up and talk to them and try and say, how'd your week go? And it's important for me to be there every Friday. I think it's important for them to know that their mayor is there every Friday, and that they're my constituents too.
You've been doing this for about 5 months now, and you have said this experience has made you more compassionate. Can you point to an example of how staying at the shelter has resulted in a policy change or a proposal to help improve the situation for Aurora's homeless population?
Well, certainly I think that knowing that We can't be all things to all people. And that I do have to create that network of other organizations to work with them. So there's an organization called Sage Ridge that's actually a state facility that takes people who have experienced homelessness that are on Medicaid, that really have addictions beyond what we can take care of, to refer them over there. And then when they're ready to leave that program, to take them back. So as the mayor, I appoint the board for Aurora Housing Authority. And so how can I align the housing needs of this population with the policies of the Aurora Housing Authority? So I appointed myself to that board and so that I can align those things together. So I think knowing some people are just, they're never going to be work ready. And that's the reality of it. You know, even though we're trying to get people to the highest level of self-sufficiency, it's going to vary for each individual. Some people we're going to work to get on disability. I mean, that's the reality of it. And then having them on disability, I can get them housing. And so these are the kind of things that I'm learning by being there. And then also, I think what I've discovered, things that I didn't know. I mean, I've known for a long time that homelessness is a crisis of mental health and drug addiction. But I've discovered it's more than that. You know, I've met young women who have been displaced through domestic violence. I have met people that were paycheck to paycheck and made a bad decision and lost their housing and were literally sleeping on the street and walking to work. You know, I remember one person, a young man who he said, look, it wasn't drugs or alcohol. I made some bad decisions financially. And so I lost my housing. But he went to work at a furniture moving company and every day. And they came here. And so he was able to then get a better job with benefits. He's working for UC Health in their grounds maintenance department.
You've spent close to half a year getting a close look at this issue. Just big picture, what do you think success looks like when it comes to helping Aurora's unhoused population?
Well, I think first getting people off the street. I mean, it's certainly not against the law to be homeless, but homeless people on the street or, you know, desperate people do desperate things. They'll certainly panhandle, but if they at the end of the day, to survive, they'll steal things. They'll start fires sometimes to keep warm. And sometimes those fires get out of control. And it's just dangerous for them to be out there. But I believe that we will, at the end of the day, have a program that's not just an example for the state of Colorado, but for the country.
Aurora Mayor Mike Coffman spoke with me about why he spends Friday nights at the city's shelter for unhoused people and how that experience is helping him shape policies to help the city's homeless population. We'll have links where you can learn more in our show notes and at KUNC.org. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.